Hey, welcome back to Evil's Comics. This guy right here is Evil Mike, or Mike if you prefer, and I have a review for you. This is going to be from Aftershock Comics. This is the Vineyard, issue number 1. It is written by Brian Hawkins, art by Sami Kivelä. It is colors by Jason Wordie, and then letters by Taylor Esposito. If I mispronounce those names, I'm sorry. I think I got them right, but you never know. Especially the Sami Kivelä, or Sami Kivelä. It could be both, I don't know. I picked up this comic for 2 reasons. Seeing this specific cover, I was into the cover. I'm a big horror fan. I thought it was a very cool art piece on the cover. So, I mean, even if the book wasn't cool, I was cool with the cover alone. But reading the synopsis after seeing the cover, I wasn't a big fan of like what the story was going to be about. But hey, I was going to give it a try anyways. After reading the first issue, I can say I was a little more into it than I thought it was going to be. But let's get into it. It does take place in Virginia, and it's about a family that has a vineyard in Virginia, and it's a successful vineyard, but for a major reason. Some time ago, I think the grandfather to this family started this vineyard, and somehow came along the god Dionysus from Greek mythology. Dionysus, basically blessed him with a bountiful vineyard and some of the best wine where they are, or something like that. But they have to come up with 4 different offerings a year, 4 different human sacrifices that they have to complete, to complete the offerings for Dionysus, for him to bless their vineyard. It's basically a mother, father, and a son and a daughter that's in the story. The daughter's kind of absent, but we'll get there. It starts off, and we're following the mom of the story, and it's already set up in a scene that's taking place. She's basically cutting this guy, and she's got a special knife that kind of makes sure you note the knife. You just find out that the knife is supposed to be the knife that they complete the ritual with. But as we follow her along with it, taking this guy out of the trunk, and him still saying stuff, and because he's still alive, he's just very, very barely alive, and at this point she's just basically supposed to finish him off. And as we're going through the comic, we come across where she can't do it. She's fumbling, and eventually her son walks up, tells the mom, I'll do it, I'll do the offering for Dionysus, and he does, sadly he does kill the guy. They do show later on that the mom is kind of unsettled after all this. They do show that she's drinking said wine, and they do kind of point out that she's one of the only people drinking the wine. The book points it out 2 or 3 times. They do show a couple things as she's contemplating what's going to happen after this. They kind of hesitate that it was something bad, that she couldn't complete the offering, and she's kind of freaking out. We do see that her daughter's calling over here, and she's ignoring the call. Down here you'll see it's the first it's over here, but they kind of pop up every now and then, but it's Dionysus's muses, or his nymphs. They do his offerings and stuff like that. I imagine they kind of watch the family and kind of tell Dionysus, hey, what's up and stuff. They do go to the next day, and they have their business is open. They're selling their wine normal and stuff like this. We do come across this lady who ends up tasting the wine, and she ends up buying everything that the family has. There is a conversation between her and the mom of the family, and basically, kind of stating that she had the best wine, and then kind of hitting on the mom's son, hey, if you ever want to, send your son over to me, wink, wink, I know he's older than 21, kind of thing. And the mom she's still stuck and thinking about the night before and stuff, and for good reason, because we get there. We see on the next page that the father of the family, isn't too happy about what happened last night. But they get there eventually. Eventually, it's this whole conversation with the mom and her, one of these customers. She kind of seems like they're, I wouldn't say friends, but more shopping associates. The woman does a lot of business at the vineyard or something like that. But eventually makes her way down. We eventually get to the real conversation, the real, meat of the story, where the father kind of explains the whole deal that they have with Dionysus, and the offerings that have to take place, the 4 offerings that have to take place every year. And there's a time limit too, just like harvest and stuff like that. With the mom failing, the father not being too happy, basically constituting it to her drinking habit that she's been dipping into Dionysus's wine a little more. As the conversations go on, we do see how loved he is by Dionysus. They kind of, show, like, at different points, the nymphs, or, they kind of pop in and hug on him and love on him and stuff like that. As the conversation goes, the father does point out that the son did step up, and that though he was able to complete the offering, and it made the mom look bad, it still made the son look really, really good. That they eventually, the father kind of expresses that Dionysus was really pleased with the son more so than the mom. They go back into her drinking habit again, and at this time, the daughter calling again, and finally the mom picking up, saying that she's basically kind of like tired of this, that it's not going the way she wants to. She doesn't know what her father, or what the girl's father's going to do, but basically that things aren't all right and stuff like that. There's a long drawn out conversation where the son, they kind of go over like the beginnings and origins of how Dionysus met up with the family and stuff like that, but it's not really so concrete or anything. It's just kind of like how the father like stressed and took heart to the Dionysus offering thing, the same way the son has supposedly. And it's kind of stated that the mom doesn't think it's so serious or whatever. They think, it might seem that she just, maybe thinks that the vineyard is a good vineyard or something like that, and then that the dad's all into hocus pocus. I mean, it's kind of hard to say that when you do have these wood nymphs popping out of this tree, even on the sun, and there's this weird, like, kind of, it's like whenever they pop up, they have to do whatever they show one scene where the nymph is all grabbing on the sun, and he doesn't fight him or anything. He just kind of stands still, and it's not like he enjoys it or anything. He just kind of stands there and let them do their thing, kind of like they know they're creatures or deities or something like that, and they're just kind of letting them do whatever they want to. They do show where they do keep this ritual knife, which I thought was really cool. It's coming out of this tree that they show pulling out over here. And when they pull it out of the tree, it comes out all covered in blood, which I thought was really weird. I mean, you cut open a tree, and most trees that I know don't have blood. The sister, finally does kind of call back to mom and stuff like that, and at this point the mom is kind of changing her story, like, no, I can't leave, I still have this business, blah, yada, 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 and eventually we do see that the son is taking up on the next offering. Like right here we see that he is showing up at this customer's house, the customer that bought all that wine, and asked his mom for him to come over and stuff. We do see that like she wants to drink wine and stuff like that before they get going, and there's some casual flirting going on back and forth, and they do show like the wine being poured, but they never show him actually drink it. He does put it up to his mouth, but the art makes a very semblance on him, like keeping his mouth closed as he is drinking the wine. I don't know if it's gonna pop up here, but basically that's the last issue with the the last issue. That's the end of this issue with the son kind of like starting the situation, and bam, he stabs her with the ritual knife as the wood nymph kind of shows up and stuff. We do get a preview of what the second issue's cover is going to look like, which looks really good, and it does say the Vine family finds their second victim in sacrifice. Adonis, which is the father, dives deeper into the devotion to Dionysus, to his father's delight. Meanwhile, Sophie returns home to save her mother, but Mariantha, that's the mom's name, isn't willing to give up the family just yet. I don't know, reading the story, I didn't think it was going to be that good. I mean, all this was kind of explained in the synopsis, but after reading it and the whole, like, mom having a trouble with the deal, like, I don't know, it kind of painted a different story. It was kind of nice. On this one, I am looking forward to the second issue to see where it's going to go. But hey, that's my review on the Vineyard. Hey, if you picked this up, let me know what you thought about it. I could see how it could be taken either way, how it might be seen as a boring story, but me and the horror whole setup, I mean, horror doesn't really have like an action theme to it. Most of the scariest horror that I know is very silent, dark, quiet, that kind of stuff. And some of the best stories are set up that way. Hey, but I don't know. Let me know what you thought. If you picked up this book, if you didn't, what you think of the review. You know, hey, that's what I got. Please like, comment, subscribe. Leave those comments down below. I'll let y'all go. Y'all have a great Saturday. I might be dropping another review. It just depends on, you know, if I have the house alone. I'll see y'all guys later. Bye.